Hi, Olivier. My name is Quetta, and I'm over here from our Bullet News team. Today, we invited again Olivier, and we are going to talk about this great and amazing project, European Crypto Bank. Hi, Olivier.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. So, Olivier, the European Crypto Bank. Now, tell us briefly about it again, if you can. What it is, what this project does, and what it will give to people.
European Bank is a private crypto bank for the crypto holders and token holders, and we will provide all services about wealth management, and we'll provide all services about tax and tax advices and tax litigation in Europe.
Okay, now you have chosen obviously way to fund it project for the ICO, which already started. You have started with a kind of high bonuses. Now I think it's at 17%, and you have also chosen two separate tokens. Could you tell us a bit more?
Um, Yes, we have decided to provide two tokens to our community or our customers. One is for financial services and for wealth management. Only for that, it's a all of tokens will be KYC'd, in any case. But the first one, we will know the token holder. The second one is full anonymous. This is one for especially for lawyers. I will explain that. You have one human right in the world. The right is to stay anonymous when you need any lawyer assistance. So it's a right to stay anonymous because you can be suspected if you are one holder of this token, So it's why we have decided to have two, one anonymous, one non-anonymous. And so the first one will provide you one access to our analysis and recommendation on crypto assets and all digital assets. It will provide to you as well any services to be advised about planification, about everything you need in your life. For a normal person in his life, he needs to be advised about loans, about investments, about his own life. If you want to be married, you have to ask to your banker some advice about how you can secure your portfolio, for example, in case of the worst case of divorce. But it could be as well if you are sick or if you will be fired in your job. This is something who will change your life. You have to say that to your banker in asking him, can you help me if I need to move somewhere, to change my life, to build my own company, etc., etc. This is what I'm describing as wealth management. Wealth management is not only for Bill Gates, it's for each people who have potential in their life to keep or to have more money in doing something. So someone with only 10,000 euros is eligible to a European crypto bank because we see a lot of potential on young people, especially from now, and because we are really sure the future is on crypto markets. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs on that area, and we have to accompany them in that way as well. So this is only for the token E, like as investors, and token S for services is for if you need any tax reporting, if you need any advice to optimize your tax form, when you fill it, for example. And if you need to move, for example, to some other country, I will talk about France, for example. In France, if you have a huge wealth, when you will move from France to another country, you have to calculate the value of all your assets the day when you will leave, and you have
Mhm.
to pay a tax before to live on your potential benefits. It's not really. It could be strange, but it's like that. So if you move France to UK, for example, if you have 2 millions of euros on your account on cryptocurrencies, you should declare them before to leave, and you should pay a tax on your benefits. So in that case, you need to ask to your bank, can you advise me if maybe I should do new investment to reduce the rate of taxation, or
Mhm.
which ways as and legal ways are to
Mhm.
be, uh, be clean in front of your tax controller in front. So it could be that, or if in your country, if your traditional bank in suspecting you of fraud will declare you to your government, you will have a huge risk of tax litigation. So in that case, we will provide a blockchain with a lot of lawyers specialized
Mhm.
on cryptocurrencies. I will precise that. It's really important. We have started to collect, a lot of lawyers who have often a personal experiment as investor on cryptocurrencies, and who are in touch with some customer from now who need their assistance against, their tax controller in their country. So we will provide that as well, and this is why this token is anonymous.
I think this is great because I think the tax issue is one of the biggest problems people facing, and obviously people keep asking about it, the solutions.
Yeah.
And I think this is where you come to, and you're going to help.
Do you know what? Because sometimes a lot of banker politicians say if you bought some bitcoins, it's just because you would go to the dark net to buy guns, drugs, blah 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 blah. But I can laugh about that because I think uh, a lot of guns were sold in US dollars or in fiat, before, and it was not a problem for them. So from now, if your bank suspects you everywhere in the world, the bank should declare you to the government in saying, I suspect this customer for something, and in that
Mhm.
case, the next is a meeting with the police, So
Mm.
in that case, you need in emergency a lawyer who will assist you. It's why we have decided to provide a specific blockchain for that.
Tell me more about yourself,
Oh,
about your
myself.
banking background. How you started actually? How did you get into all this banking and investment like
I
world?
started in finance for 25 years ago on derivatives, and after that for UBS in the private bank in Paris, then in London. Then after that, after the Lehman crisis on financial markets, I left the bank, and I've created my own company. This is Forgues Gestion from now in Paris, and I've started another one Forgues Gestion branch here in London, where we are today. And with the digital revolution, we have decided to move our business into cryptocurrencies, and this is the European Crypto Bank project for today.
But you have actually started as a whistleblower at UBS. So how this history made you actually come to this?
UBS, UBS is a strange part of my life because I've detected a lot of frauds, organized system of
Mhm.
frauds inside the bank in Paris, and I've decided to leave for that.
Mhm.
And I was one of the three main whistleblower in France against the bank, who should pay in advance a sort of penalty of 2 billion euros, and it's why I've decided, to create my own company after that, because the finance industry, especially in the
Mhm.
Swiss private bank system, was not really clean at this time. So yes, UBS is it's a quite interesting moment in my life about experiment on wealth management. It's a really good company for that. But we have to forget, all cases of frauds from this bank. So, yeah, I worked for them for 8 years as a private banker, and I advise a lot of wealthy people, but also normal people who would manage their wealth, or about tax planification as it for the life. It should be the famous 3 Ds. When you are, I will explain that. When you are a private banker, you have to accompany your customer about 3 Ds. It's divorce, debt, and death. And you have to, yes, sorry, it's not really fun, but this is the 3 events will impact your wealth in your life. So a good private banker should accompany you, should advise you in advance in preparing that bad events on your life. So I've done that a lot of times, and I have advised them on financial markets, on bonds, shares, funds, structured products, and a lot of other things. And this is just what I've done for the last the last 2 decades, in my life.
That's a long time, isn't it? So basically, the new company of your own company, Olivier Forgues, is actually focused on wealth management, private banking, and you specialize basically on a very wealthy clientele, or is it like open also to those like lower clientele? Or?
Yeah, indeed, exactly.
So how does actually link to this new project, the European Crypto Bank?
Yeah. So European Crypto Bank is just the main and the best solution for coins and token holders, today, to be advised about their wealth on cryptos they have on their portfolio from now. It's often hidden against their local tax governments, you know what I mean. So the main problem for them is they have made a lot of profits. They can't transform their coins to fiat and to invest or to expand it, as they want. And the project is just to help us, in providing tax reporting, in providing tax advice, in providing, in the worst case, tax lawyers if there is any case of litigation in their country. But it's not only that. It's just, for example, if you have a lot of bitcoins or your account or your wallet, if you die, who will say to your family, you have a lot of bitcoins somewhere in the world? Who will explain to your notary how much did you make? Is your portfolio is clean or not clean? So this is our ambition to do that, for example. So it's just the job of a private banker who accompanies his customer from the beginning to after the end. Because today, if you are on a platform, if you close your wallet, if you move somewhere else, if you have any problems in your country, if you will come back to your ex platform in asking, can you help me, can you support me on something, they will say, sorry, it's not my problem, it's your problem. So European Crypto Bank, it's definitely quite different if you compare some platforms like as Coinbase, for example, and us. But it's not only that. If you want to buy a flat or to buy each traditional assets, we will provide any gateways for that. We will start to announce soon. We have a partnership with a company who will help people to buy some physical gold, for example, and to be delivered with their gold at home in paying with their cryptocurrencies. This is just the beginning of a lot of things to real estate, art, boats, gold, etc., etc. So it's just a full offer for someone who made a lot of profits on cryptocurrencies, or to someone who wants to invest. So this is a gateway between traditional investors and first joiner, in cryptocurrencies ecosphere.
It's kind of nice. They also link together the two together, like the crypto world and standard banking is nicely linked. And I think this is kind of future for everyone. And obviously, you will keep the money safer for many years.
Yeah, just in confidence between us, I met a depository in France a few weeks ago, and they agreed if we could provide the history of someone on cryptocurrencies market, and if we can provide a proof, we accompany him to declare his benefit, they will accept to open one account, the bank account for us. So it just, we are just creating gateways, but with the experiment of private banker, because we are really well experimented on that. We know banks system, traditional banks, and we know people on cryptocurrencies who really need our help about that. It's really important. It doesn't make sense to be billionaire on Bitcoins if you can't use them, in buying flats, or I don't know what you want, So.
This is actually good for you as well. I think it's a great advantage for you just having all this experience, because you have like other crypto project, Bankera, and obviously none of the CEOs and team members are as experienced as you. So do you think that that's what makes you different, having all this experience and doing things slightly differently and better?
It's really different because it's not because they are young. It's not because they are not in Europe, in Western Europe like as us. It's just because they were not private banker before. We were, we are, and we will. And we know humans, needs into the bank industry. We know how it's difficult to provide, for example, a loan to someone, because you need to prepare your file if you want to offer, from European crypto bank to the final customer, a great offer. There is a lot of competition about rates, about conditions, a lot of things. So if I would speak about Bankera, it's just so easy to offer a lot of things. It's just so easy to say, we have bought a bank, so we are a bank. No way. Because I really well know regulators. It's not because you buy a bank, you will keep the agreement of the bank, because regulators will have a look on your honorability, about your level of customers, if you can provide enough revenues for the company, if your project is really serious. And they will have a look on your experiment as bank managers, So I think you have a lot of projects who are saying, we will buy a traditional bank, but it doesn't make sense. Can you imagine if Ben Laden bought a bank? The result will be the bank will lose agreement, definitely. So that's the problem. I will not compare my competitors with Ben Laden, but I will just explain, to the community, it's not so simple like that. It's why in our project we have decided to ask one bank agreement in the next 2 years after the end of the ICO, just because we have to show to regulators we have made a lot of improvement, in the cryptocurrencies business. And because I'm not really sure that regulators are ready to give any or to maintain any agreements to new banks on cryptocurrencies. It's maybe too new for them, So the average to ask one agreement in Europe is 9 months. Officially, it's 3 months. But when you start, if the regulator will ask you any more information, the time is frozen. The time is frozen while you are responding. Sometimes it's quite complicated. They will ask you a key man on something in particular, so you have to recruit one, and you have to negotiate with someone who should join your project. So it's not so easy. It's why I'm so surprised about some other projects who are saying we will be a bank. Who say that?
It's not as simple, isn't it?
Yes, we say our ambition is to be a bank. It's why in our project we have the the one ex-founder of UBS who joined us. He asked one agreement in France for the bank, and he was in a relationship with all regulators in Europe with that for that. So he's over 60. He's really experimented, and we tried to ask a lot of specialists in our projects. We have mathematicians, we have researcher on artificial intelligence.
You have noticed you're a great team, actually.
Yeah, and we have all data in our servers for maybe 10 years about customers during some financial crash with a lot of stress or normal situations. So we will use that to build a very strong artificial intelligence and I name that robot advisors, for our customers. So we have a lot of good things in our project, and we have experiment. We have a lot of experts everywhere in Europe, and we are originally true private banker.
That makes a difference, definitely, and I think this obviously what you're doing is definitely future of the crypto banking. And
and I will add, if you want to convince new customer, my theory is about cryptocurrencies market. My theory is we have in front of us a huge and massive wall of regulations with arriving, and it will not help prices from now on cryptocurrencies market. But after regulation, a lot of old and traditional investors will join new, old investors. So if we want to convince them to come as a customer of European crypto bank, we have to be really experimented on the old world of traditional banks, So in the future, we have to convince the community from now and all traditional investors.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think always you can succeed.
Yeah.
So thank you. This is great for today. Obviously, we're going to talk about in the next interview. Let's talk to you more details about your ICO project. So thank you for today, Olivier. I wish you all the best of luck, and I will speak to you soon.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.